Hello and welcome to SL Chennai Speaks Out Season 2. I'm Sanjay Pinto. Every year across the country, lakhs of young professionals and graduates write perhaps the most grueling exam in the country, the civil services exam, to get those 3 letters after their names. Or should I say to also travel in those white ambassador cars with those flashing red lights as beacons. Or should I say it's to make a difference to society, braving reports of political interference, reports of corruption, of inefficiency, of being used like doormats by politicians. But then people say that the civil service is only a microcosm of society and you get the civil servants you deserve. Many believe that today corruption is in our mindsets. Not long ago, a leading magazine conducted a survey in the academy where probationers went on record to say that they would settle for nothing less than 1 crore as dowry because they felt that they deserved it after cracking the most grueling exam. Now imagine the fate of the country when such people, after their training, go on to man anti-dowry cells in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, are the civil services attracting the best talent? That's our proposition on SL Chennai Speaks Out. We've got the cream of bureaucrats from Tamil Nadu, starting with Mrs. Kutsia Gandhi, a very senior IAS officer who belongs to the additional Chief Secretary rank, who is the chairperson and managing director of Power Finance Corporation of Tamil Nadu. Mr. Rajesh Das, a senior IPS officer who is the Inspector General of Police of the Coastal Security Group of Tamil Nadu. Both Mrs. Kutsia Gandhi and Mr. Rajesh Das believe that we are not attracting the best talent. The best minds are not really making it past that civil services exam. On the other side of the motion, Dr. Santosh Babu, young dynamic IAS officer, a medical, actually a doctor by profession who chose to enter the civil services. He's the managing director of LCOT, also the CEO of e-governance of the state. Today, many say that the IRS is also just as glamorous as the IAS and the IPS and the IFS. Mr. Selva Ganesh, a senior IRS officer, he is the additional commissioner of income tax. And we've got a lot of young, bright minds, hopefully the best minds here, young civil service aspirants, also those who are coaching them from various coaching centers. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the show. Without much ado, let's go on to our first round, which is called Opening Spell.
I feel that best brains are no more attracted towards the civil services. One thing, because there are brighter avenues in the private sector and lesser hassles. Because as you said, Sanjay, that once we get into the service, we have all sorts of problems to encounter. Once I asked somebody, one very young chap, would you like to get into services? He said no. I asked why. The number of files that one has to, peer into them. So that is one, I mean, it's on the lighter side perhaps, but the tough job that we have to do, and most of the time we don't get recognized. We are not appreciated. Only when there's a problem, people point fingers to us. But when we do something really good, people do not appreciate. I mean, public maybe, but the powers that we do not appreciate so much. So all these things must be at the back of the mind when young people choose their career. And another thing is, in those days, the options were very few. Ladies, they had the profession as teachers, nurses, and maybe doctors. And youngsters, they had only just, they become civil engineers and all that. But now, there are any number of options. Even in engineering, there are any number of options. Most of these people who are now trying to join civil services from the rural areas, where they still feel that, yes, to be a collector is the ultimate in life. Whereas I think the urbanites, urban children, they are not so very attracted, and especially the children of the bureaucrats. They say, no, no, we don't want to, we just don't want to hear that there's something called civil services. And now this pattern of exam, UPSC, they want to test the moral and ethical aptitude also. Does it mean that they have not been selecting people with moral and ethical attitudes? When we boil water, only the scum comes up. So maybe the scum is only being selected. When we enter the services, we are supposed to write about our properties, how much property we own. Then I saw a big list. I asked them what? I said, let me write so that later they will never question me that I never had such a large list of properties.
It's not as much about getting the best talents into the system. If after getting to the system, you're still able to maintain your balance, have your head on your shoulders, and think about the nation at large, I think that's the time at which we can say that you selected the best talent. We can't say somebody who's topped 10th standard, pre-degree, degree, IAS, IIT, everything. Still, he can't become a good bureaucrat unless he's able to carry himself, he's able to think about society, he's able to see the big picture. That's my first remark. Second is that today, a lot of youngsters are coming in at a time, unlike ma'am's time, those are the times when bureaucracy was the only big thing for the country, the youngsters. Today, there is also a competitor in terms of the private sector. And you're looking at that and this, and you're able to decide. But what is your priority? Is making a career for yourself the most important thing? Or is it that you're trying to serve the country, which is the question I was asked in the civil service interview as well. But today, even after 15 years, I still feel that there's no bigger canvas than the civil service to serve this nation. Youngsters like you are there. Come and join the service. I think this is the best place to be on earth today.
All right. Thank you very much for that, I think, rosy optimism there, and also a sales pitch for the civil services by Dr. Santosh Babudar. Hopefully, he'll also make it to the UPSC and choose the best minds very soon.